Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the Last Word Music. I know it's been a minute. Scott, Dimitri, and I have just been kind of like trying to enjoy our summer a little bit. We've just been trying to get as much out of this summer as we can because of everything that's going on in the world right now. But we are going to try and start putting up some more videos on this channel. We'll go back to sports once everything starts up kind of later in July. But for now, man, we have a good return to form for us. We are going to be ranking the great Aubrey Graham Drake discography. So, a little bit of ground rules. I am not going to be including Care Package or What a Time to Be Alive, because What a Time to Be Alive is a collaboration with Future, and then I'd have to rank Future in this as well. It'd just be a little bit too complicated, and Care Package is more of a compilation album. However, I am going to be putting Dark Lane demo tapes, even though it's like some sort of a mixtape, you might say, but I still would put it in Drake's discography. So, so no Care Package, no What a Time to Be Alive, Dark Lane demo tapes will be included. But let's not waste any more time, man. Let's get into this list. Coming in at dead last, man, we have, as no surprise to probably anyone, we have Scorpion. Now, Scorpion was this very hyped up album, and I think that's kind of why it failed, because it was so hyped. It was kind of like, it was Drake's first album since More Life, and More Life wasn't that great either, and we were all just kind of like really looking forward to what he could do. He had dropped a few singles, like Nice for What, God's Plan, I'm Upset, and we heard some things we liked on those tracks. And then the album just went in a completely different direction than those tracks. There was a few just like tracks where Drake just tried to chase a hit, kind of like Mob Ties was kind of just a hit chaser. Definitely In My Feelings was a hit chaser. You saw how big that song got in the dance and how it was like this huge trend for that summer. However, the rest of the album just didn't know what it really wanted to be. There was a lot of conflict in the themes of the album. There wasn't a whole lot of substance. There was a little bit here and there where Drake was talking about his personal life and things that were going on with him, but you know, that's a given for most Drake projects, and that's a given for most rap albums in general. Like, they use their personal pain and their personal experiences and manipulate that into words and make it a piece of art. However, Scorpion was just very low on substance. It was very surface level when it came to definitely the deeper meanings. So for that reason, it's definitely last. However, the rest of Drake's albums, I would not say are as bad as Scorpion, even though like Scorpion was so hyped and everybody got really, really excited when it was announced. 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so coming in at number 8, we have More Life. Now, honestly, More Life is his most forgettable album. It was the one right after Views and right before Scorpion, because everyone remembers Scorpion because of the few songs on there. Everyone remembers Views because Views was like this huge turn in Drake's discography where he tried something new. He tried a different sound. He talked a little bit more about Canada. He talked about Canada in If You're Reading This Is Too Late as well, but Views was kind of like an escalation of that. But More Life is very forgettable, and I would say if it weren't for songs like Passion Fruit, if it weren't for songs like Portland, and if it weren't for songs like Fake Love, no one would ever remember this album, because those are the only 3 songs I would say that people really remember. Free Smoke is a good song, don't get me wrong. Free Smoke, definitely a great intro track, definitely a great song just in general. However, other than those songs, it's just very forgettable. It's kind of just a carbon copy of Views, I'd say. It's got very similar production, it's got very similar substance, and that's really all I gotta say about it. Like, if you listen to the album, you kind of know More Life is just kind of like, yeah. Okay, so for number 7, we have So Far Gone, Drake's first studio album. And honestly, man, it shows. It shows. Some rappers have great debuts. However, Drake was not really one of them. So Far Gone is not horrible, I'd say, but it's definitely got its flaws. Sometimes the melodies and the harmonies Drake uses on his hooks, they don't sound appealing. The hook for Successful very much so is an example of that, I would say. It doesn't sound good. Houston, Atlanta, Vegas, the hook isn't that great either. There's a lot of conflicts with the rhyme schemes he chooses. There's a lot of just like choppiness, I would say. But you know what? It's his first actual project, and that being said, he actually did a good job. There are some songs on here that I actually listen to quite frequently. Like November 18th, I think, is a great song. It's a great, just like, vibing track. Say What's Real is a great song. Unstoppable is a great song. Best I Ever Had is probably the most recognizable song off of this album. And that's pretty much it, man. It was kind of just a really base level intro debut album. That kind of got him on the map, especially because, as I said, it was his first studio album when he was signed to Young Money. So, yeah. I don't even know where we're at anymore. We're at 6. Okay. At 6, we have Views. Now, people are very, very, very tough on Views, and I'll be the first to tell you that Views, it wasn't amazing. It definitely had its flaws. However, Views, I think, gets a little too much hate because Drake was just trying something a little different. He tried a more melodic type of production on most songs. He kind of had like half of the album was like very melodic production. He was singing, songs like Too Good, songs like Hotline Bling, obviously. But then he also had songs like Hype and songs like Pop Style that were kind of gritty production, and he kind of flowed over them really well. He kind of had similar flows for both of them. But you know what? He was trying something new from the other albums that he had dropped, and I can respect that. The subject matter was a little bit different too. He talked a little bit more about his Six God Toronto centric whatever. So there's not a lot that I can really say about this album in terms of like if it escalated the rap game or anything, but it was Drake trying to show that he could do something different, and I think it was a successful mission in that part. However, it's still not one of his better projects. Okay, number 5. This is where I have Dark Lane demo tapes. If you haven't checked out our reaction, me, Dimitri, Scott, we reviewed this album. I think we all enjoyed it. I probably enjoyed it the most out of any of them. I think I gave it the highest score on our scoring guide. However, this was a big return to form to him, man. This was absolutely a big return to form. It's very dark, the production. Like, you look at the cover art and you listen to it, you very much feel engulfed into the cover art. The cover art's very dark and mysterious, and that's kind of the same way with the production. It's very dark and sometimes mellow at some parts. I'd say in Chicago Freestyle gets very mellow, but also kind of dark and gritty in there. And then you got Not You Two with Chris Brown, very dark and gritty. But even in his more like up-tempo tracks, like D4L and Pain 1993, it's still very gritty. And it's still very dark. It's very consistent production, which we hadn't seen from Drake in a while, because Scorpion, More Life, Views, they kind of jumped back and forth between what kind of production they wanted to feature on the album. However, this was a very consistent production. And I think when listening to this album, it kind of feels like you're listening to the old Drake. There's not a whole lot of like talk about the six. There's not a whole lot of talk about like just meaningless hit chasers or whatever. He's actually talking about his experiences. I honestly think Chicago Freestyle might be the sequel to Marvin's Room. He talks about his trouble with women, his trouble with fake people. He talks about his struggles with trying to find himself and who he is as a person. And honestly, that was Drake at his best form when we listened to his other projects. So, very good, Drake. This is what we like to hear. Really glad that you came back with this great mixtape. At number 4, we have the first Drake project I actually ever listened to, Thank Me Later, his second studio, or I guess this was his first like actual studio album released on Young Money, but you know, whatever. You got songs like Over, you got songs like Up All Night, Fancy. They're just classic Drake songs. And when you listen to it, it's honestly like the production's really good. Drake sounds good like as an artist over it. It's very surface level when it comes to its content, but honestly, the reason I ranked it so high is because of my personal nostalgia for it. I absolutely love listening to these old songs. Just so many memories come back of listening to good hip-hop. Drake was he was one of my favorite artists for the longest time. He honestly, like, still is, like, when I listen to his older stuff. Just overall, it's a very, very well done album. I think it's probably his least debated as one of like the middle of the pack. I just put it at the very top of the middle of the pack just because of my personal love for it. But Thank Me Later is definitely just one of his better albums. Okay, the top 3. Now, in these top 3 was pretty much like locked in. I had 3 locked in since like before I even re-listened to them. I forgot to mention, I re-listened to all of these albums before I decided to make this video, and 3 was very much locked in. 1 and 2, I actually took some time. This is why I had previously recorded this video, and then I didn't like how it turned out, so then I went back and kind of revisited my list a little bit, and I actually switched 1 and 2 a number of times before I decided that I wanted to record again. So honestly, by the time I post it, I might have changed my mind again. But number 3 is locked in, and that's Nothing Was the Same. You have lots of great themes of Drake, kind of like on his come up in the rap game, kind of like at his come up as a child, the personal traumas, the personal endeavors that he had to deal with growing up. Although Scott and I always joke about this, if Drake is telling the truth on all this, it's funny because he was a child actor. But regardless of that, he's got songs like, obviously, you have great songs on here like Started From the Bottom, Wu-Tang Forever. Hold On, We're Going Home is probably one of his best vibing melodic type songs. Songs like Pound Cake, songs like All Me, that was huge. You look at this, honestly, like this album, it's very like melodic and laid back. You have some little grittiness in there, but All Me as the last track I think is perfect, because if you're gonna put a song that doesn't really go with the album's flow or production, I think you put it either dead first or dead last. And All Me was a great song that I think Drake needed to put on the project, and he did, and he put it dead last so that the flow of the album wasn't really corrupted, and I think that was absolutely perfect. And All Me itself is probably my favorite song off of this album. So not much more to say about this one, man. It's a very consistent flow. He has some substance in there. He's still got his hits because, you know, it's Drake. He's got to put something out for the charts, but it's just a very, very well put together album. I think his 3rd, if I'm not mistaken. It's his 3rd studio album. So, all right, man. 1 and 2. 1 and 2. At number 2. Well, it pains me to say this because I had this on my top 10 rap albums of all time. I'm now putting it as Drake's second best album ever. And this is Take Care. Now, everybody who knows Drake knows this album. Everybody. Take Care is just up there. It's probably on most people's number one, like the top of their list. It's probably most people's number one on the top of their list, excuse me. It's so consistent in the way he talks about his hardships and everything that's going on. He talks about fake people and problems with women and problems with dealing with fame so often. And excuse me, this was his third studio album. Nothing Was the Same with 4, because he wrote Nothing Was the Same probably because of the success he got off of Take Care. Take Care was an absolute smash hit. You got great features on here. Andre 3000 and Lil Wayne on The Real Her. You got Lil Wayne on Hell Yeah Effin' Right. The Weeknd has a few great features, and this was the weekend before like The Weeknd blew up, so it was very nice to hear him on here. Nicki Minaj on Make Me Proud. Nicki Minaj never disappoints on a Drake track. But like even Drake by himself on this, man, it's like Shot For Me, Headlines, obviously some great songs. You got Marvin's Room, which is like stereotypical, like in your room, shades down, hood up on the hoodie, you're just chilling and vibing. It's absolutely beautiful. However, after re-listening to these albums, I came to a decision. When I'm talking, as The Last Word Music, we primarily review hip-hop. When I think of Drake, do I think of him as an R&B artist or a rapper? Now, Take Care definitely has Drake's best R&B. There's no doubt about it. Drake sounds so good over this type of production. However, man, when we're talking about consistency of production on a rap album, there is zero doubt that if you're reading this, it's too late. It is Drake's most consistent album when it comes to production, when it comes to substance in his bars while he's rapping, and when it comes to just flat out bangers. I'm telling you, man, I re-listened to this album, and there was a time where I just listened to it, and, you know, memory started coming back. I started remembering some songs. I started remembering some bars I didn't even know I remembered. And there was a time where I just looked, and I was like 9 songs in, and I had no clue what had just happened. It was like, yeah, I was at Preach with Party, featuring Party the Next Door, and I was like, I'm 9 songs into this album, and I have not heard one bad song yet. And I kept listening, man, and I kept listening. And I got about to 6 p.m. in New York, honestly one of Drake's best kind of like storytelling type songs. And I was just absolutely amazed on how much I've been sleeping on this album since it came out. I had never really like sat down and listened to the whole thing. There was obviously songs that if you're a Drake fan, you obviously had to listen to, like Know Yourself, Energy, Legend, Six God, like just bangers in that sense. However, I had never listened to them like all in order, and the production is so consistent. I never got bored listening to this album. It honestly, like, the production matched, but it was different, and that's perfect when it comes to the production. Now, as for Drake himself, this is him at his best. He has creative flow schemes. He has creative rhyme schemes. He never really tries to chase a hit. I don't want to say this, man, but he kind of goes sicko mode. He honestly goes sicko mode. He never really takes a breath. His flow schemes are so tight, man. And I think the biggest thing for him is the substance. Because when we hear Drake rapping about substance, as I said in Take Care, it's very, very appealing, especially to me. And there was definitely, some substance in here, even though it was like a lot of bangers and a lot of like hard, gritty types of production, and Drake trying to be like skillful with the way he's rapping. But there was so much like freaking substance in here. Like on Legend, he's talking about like he's done everything he can for the rap game. He's done everything he can for his city. So like, you know, if someone offs him, man, like he will be remembered. His memory will like be carried on. You know, you got songs like Energy where he's talking about like, you know, I got a lot of people who hate me. However, they're always fake to me, and I'm doing the best I can to just stay true to myself. And that's just what every rapper is kind of looking for, man. But you know, Take Care it's right there. It's like neck and neck. I'm telling you, man, as soon as I post this video, I'm probably going to change it. Like, I can't tell you enough how much I love these two albums respectively. And they're so different. And I think that's the great thing about Drake, is he's so diverse that, like, he can honestly drop anything and make it sound very, very good. But for the time being, if you're reading this, it's too late, comes in at number 1 for Drake's discography. Thank you, everybody, for watching. I know this was a little bit of a longer video just to start off our return to form. If you're still here, thank y'all for watching. Leave a like if you liked it. Share, comment, subscribe. This has been The Last Word Music.